From the far reaches of space to the darkest places on Earth, join us as we explore the haunted, the cryptid, the creepy, and more. Exposing Reality Radio presents the Spectral Wolfpack Show, your paranormal nightmare, with your host, Alexander Bobolinsky.
What's up, Wolfpack? I hope everybody is having a great week and not getting too rained on. We got a little bit today. We've been decorating for Halloween and getting ready for spooky season with lots of investigating in the future. This is probably my favorite time of the year to investigate as far as Bigfoot and the paranormal, because it's nice and cool out. It's just perfect weather, and also for Bigfooting, the bugs die. So it's a lot better for my audio, and I'm hoping to catch some pretty cool stuff in the next, couple weeks onward into winter. And actually, I like investigating in winter, too. It's actually a lot of fun. So for anyone that doesn't know, next weekend is the Bigfoot Day in Tennessee, and I'll be speaking there at 3 p.m. on Friday. It's in Kingsport, Tennessee. And if you go to bigfootday.com, you can check out info on that if anyone's interested in coming. And then next week, we're going to be having on Tuesday the 16th a dream interpreter and dream guy coming on my YouTube channel. And we're going to be doing some dream interpretations and stuff. It's going to be pretty crazy. So tonight we got an awesome guest lined up, and we're going to jump right into that. We got Matt Feole is the founder and lead investigator of Gateway Paranormal Society, and has been researching and investigating the paranormal for a little over 10 years. Matt uses this understanding to consistently ask questions and seek the truth with the team. And Matt, what's up, man?
How's it going, brother?
Good. I'm excited to ask you some questions and hear all your theories and stories. It's gonna be good. It's gonna be great.
Right on, man. I'm excited to be here for sure.
Yeah, that's one reason I like to do this show, to hear different people's perspectives and opinions and theories, and we all always learn a lot of cool stuff at the end of by the end of every show. So I always ask this, it's I'm sure you've been asked it a million times, but what was one of the first things that kind of got you into the paranormal, or what was one of your first experiences?
So I'll start off with back in, let's say it's kindergarten or first grade. Mm-hmm. My after school daycare teacher decided to, for whatever reason, tell us all the story of the Bell Witch, and
nice.
I was like, what is going on with this? So I was listening to her, and it freaked me out, bro. Like I was I was a little kid, just heard that story, and I was just thinking like some witch was about to come in my house or something. And
it's quite a story to tell.
So that all kind of bypassed, and by the time I was maybe fourth grade or something, mm-hmm. We were living in a house that had some activity in it, and I didn't really understand what was going on, still being a kid, but I remember hearing noises, and I was fortunately able to say maybe it's the wind blowing, or making up some kind of excuse for it for my own sake, so I was not staying up all night. But going further, I had a night in particular that I always made sure to turn my lamp off on my nightstand every night when I lay down and go to sleep. Mm-hmm. So I wake up, and that lamp is on, and I'm like, all right, I could have forgot that, whatever. And my bathroom door, swings open violently, and there's this, 8-foot-tall shadow, floor to ceiling, just standing there. And I said, yep, I'm out of here. So I took off running, went down to my parents' room, and it's like, hey, I just saw this in my bathroom. And like, yeah, whatever. I don't, just kind of laughing it off or whatever. And I was like, well, I'm trying to change my room. I ain't trying to sleep in that room no more. And I moved across the hall, and it's just the feeling in the house was just crazy all the time for me. And before my next actual sighting in that house, I had a night where my brother, who was in 8th grade, I believe he was, came running into my room one night, and he was like, hey, man, can I sleep with you tonight? I'm like, bro, you're in 8th grade. What are you doing trying to sleep with me? And he's like, just let me do this. I was like, all right. And he told me he had woken up and something was holding him down, and his bed was like shaking and stuff. And
yeah,
I said, man, that's pretty wild. So the next detailed thing that I remember from that house was one night waking up and seeing this little girl standing out in the hallway right out, my bed where my head was laid at. I could literally just look out of my door and into a hallway. And she's standing there, and I'm like rubbing my eyes and trying to wipe my face off. Maybe I'm, just woke up. I'm just probably seeing something or whatever. And it wasn't going away. And I got up curious about it, and I turned my light on, and she like slowly moved, and she was gone. So that's where that all started. So I started hitting up the libraries and book fairs. The internet was not super readily available back then, so I was having to really dig deep into trying to figure out what was going on. And then the show Ghost Hunters came out, and I was like, wow, man, I'm not really that crazy after all. And that show's what hooked me. Ghost Adventures, helped out as well. But
yeah,
I started just being curious, and I've did a couple sessions at a little graveyard. I say sessions, but I didn't have any equipment. Just went out there and was asking questions. And
I understand. Yeah, I did the same.
Yeah, just stealing my friend's digital camera to go try to take pictures and see what we got or whatever, and stuff like that. But then, as I got older and when I graduated high school and joined a team, and that all didn't really work out. They weren't that serious for me. I was trying to go investigate as much as possible, and then I joined another team, and they wanted me to be their tech guy, and I wasn't super happy doing that, but I did it for a little while, and then I started Gateway Paranormal.
Nice. Yeah, that's definitely a lot of people have similar, experiences when they're a kid. And I do think that there, we've talked about on the show a few times about how there is something to kids being more sensitive to this stuff, or someone was even talking about them being able to see because their eyes haven't been damaged at all. Something about maybe being able to see other spectrums that our eyes kind of lose after age, and so
that's a pretty good theory.
Yeah, there's been we've talked about a lot of stuff, and I do think there's something to that, but yeah, I think it's funny about the lady reading you guys that story at such a young age. I mean, that's a pretty scary story, even when you're our age.
Yeah, that was wild, man. I was terrified.
Yeah, and I've heard many similar stories about the 7-8 feet tall shadow figures and people experiencing sleep paralysis in situations like that. So it's all it's very interesting to me, and I don't know.
Yeah, absolutely. It's one of the things that you were talking about with the eyesight of the children. One of the theories out there that I've absolutely loved is, dogs or animals in general being affected by paranormal easily.
Mm-hmm.
And, you think about dogs and they're colorblind, so what if they're just constantly seeing an outline of, you know, they walk into a building that has paranormal activity and they're seeing these figures of something that should not be there because they have, you know, that black and white vision or whatever. So that was another interesting theory that I've heard fairly recently, I guess.
Yeah, I know. I've had some interesting experiences with my dog, and some things that we both saw. Like, he barked at it, and I saw it, and just so I definitely think that animals can see them or see something. We don't really know what, I guess.
Yeah, for sure.
And then I love how it's like always, it's always so, you know, like some people have similar experiences, but it's still always so like random, and just like with yours, you know, like the girl was still there after you wiped your eyes and then slowly walked away or faded away. And then someone else might have something that is there and then vanishes. Someone else might have something that stands there all night. I mean, it's just so random. And so
it is. Absolutely. And, you know, a lot of these experiences that I had as a child, I'm like, man, I'm trying to experience that again. And that's because I know without a doubt in my mind of what happened as a child, obviously, but you know, I guess that's why we're all out here investigating the paranormal, is hoping to experience some crazy stuff like that again, you know?
Yeah, for sure. And I think it's possible. I mean, I've definitely, you know, I know we've all had our fair share of awesome encounters and experiences, and we'll get into that here in a little bit. One thing I wanted to ask is the one logo you guys use, is that some Norse symbols?
Yes, that is the Nordic compass.
Nice. And what's the meaning of that?
So basically, you know, Gateway Paranormal short is GPS, and I was like,
nice.
Man, I want to try to find some sort of really cool logo for this. And Casey Boatwright, who is the co-founder, he follows Nordic beliefs, and he was like, well, let's use this. And he told me the meaning of, you know, it helps you make your way through the storm. And it was really cool how that all fit. I think it was kind of just meant to be, and actually got it tattooed on my elbow, so it's definitely very meaningful for myself.
Yeah, that's all. I think that's awesome, and it also just looks super cool. I mean, it's a great symbol, and when I saw it, I was like, I wonder what that is. And then, you know, I think I found something about the Nordic stuff, the symbols, and very cool.
There's been a couple people think that we're using like the sigil for purgatory, and I'm just here to say that is not what that is. Although they look very similar, that is they're a little different.
Yeah, and I think it's definitely meant to be with the GPS acronym, and I mean that's just awesome how it kind of lined up.
Oh yeah, for sure, man. It was perfect.
Yeah. So tell us a little bit about each member of your team. Like,
sure. So
yeah,
Casey Boatwright, him and I are the ones that started all of this, and he's the co-founder. He's also an investigator. He was doing tech and camera stuff for quite a while, but he's a very good investigator, so he decided to kind of step back towards doing that. And then we have, trying to do some sort of order, go with Matt Wyatt. He is the other lead investigator on the team. You know, if we split up into teams of two, he'll go take a team, and they'll go investigate however, you know, he feels fit at the moment. And he's a very good investigator, very well-versed. Like most of us on the team are very good with the tech side of it, the, you know, investigating side of it. All, you know, you kind of have to be. So
yeah,
he's also a very good investigator. And then we have Wes Neal, who is our tattoo artist buddy, but he is
nice.
An investigator. And he rocks the camera a lot. He is somebody, when he speaks, you don't want to miss out on it. He's going to say some words of wisdom real quick on you and kind of hit you with it. But he's great to have on the team. He's always given a positive outlook on things. And I don't know if you or anybody else listening has seen the Wilden Manor return video on YouTube, but he went through a heck of an experience there.
Wow. Do you, if you want to talk about that now, or we can go into the experiences, if after.
Yeah, I mean,
either way.
So we were investigating. Well, let me finish up everybody else so I don't forget them. But so then Wes, and then we have Dustin Biggs. There for a while, he was doing camera, and he was investigating, switching back and forth. But now we use Dustin Biggs as he primarily does nothing but isolations. Like, he'll start with one of our teams,
mm-hmm.
and then he will walk off from the group and start doing some stuff on the side. And it's actually helped out a lot, because
yeah.
You think about if you're with a group of people and maybe you're sitting on some chairs or sitting on the floor or whatever you're doing, and you hear a noise off in the other room or other part of the building, but you're also having good activity. That's when Dustin comes in and he goes and checks out that noise in case there is activity over there. And
nice. Yeah, that's awesome.
It's been really helpful.
Yeah.
And then there's Ben Smith. He is the youngster on the team. I've known him for a very long time. Which we've all known each other for a long time on the team too. That's the thing I love about our team. We are all very, very good friends. We're all have known each other for a long time. So Ben has worked with me for some years now, and we've worked at different jobs together, and he's come over my house. We've partied it up or whatever.
Yeah.
He's been doing camera here recently, and but he's also another one of those guys. He's a really good investigator, and we all kind of just do what needs to be done for that certain location. But everyone definitely plays a key role.
Yeah, I think that's awesome. And there's definitely an art to both sides of being a cameraman and investigating. Because I've seen some pretty some bad cameramen out there.
Yeah.
but yeah, I think that's great, and I think it's also great that you guys are all real close and everything. Because you're going to be spending a lot of time together in uncomfortable conditions and like.
Oh yeah.
And you never know what's going to happen too. It's like some like you're saying, someone might have an experience or some kind of negative thing affecting them, and it's good to have people that care about you and are that know each other, so you can know how to handle different situations.
Absolutely, it's like we use the term brotherhood a lot because when we're not investigating, we're all at my house or someone else's house, and we're, grilling out and drinking beers and, just hanging out. We talk to each other daily. We have a group chat that we, are constantly shooting ideas at or talking about information somebody might not have or whatever the case is. And it's great. It's everything I could have possibly dreamed for as an actual team goes. Team or not, I'm going to be investigating regardless, but I love the idea of having a team, and I'm very glad that it's worked out for myself personally as perfectly as it has.
Yeah, because having the right team it's just awesome. And because, like, you could do a big group investigation and everything's contaminated with noise, and you might not work well with certain people, but having that perfect team is definitely awesome.
Absolutely.
So tell us.
So yeah, I guess the West situation.
Yeah.
I was going to start on that for a second, but I didn't want to forget anybody on the team. But
yeah,
we were at Wilden Manor in Central City, Kentucky, and we were. This is one of the rare nights that we've actually all stayed together the entire night, just solely based on where we're getting great activity. And we started out in the hallway right outside of where they use as base camp, and I have my portal hooked up and running spirit box through it, and we're getting some pretty good responses right off the rip. It was a little slow, but we're still getting some, good intelligent responses. And then we start noticing noises all around us, and the atmosphere just changing. And I was getting touched all over, and the SLS camera was actually working with, when I was like, hey, will you shoot over here my right leg? I feel like there's something touching it, and it mapped in a figure.
Yeah.
And there was a point where we heard some footsteps behind us, and heard a pretty good growl at one point, and we investigated there for a little bit, and we said, all right, let's take a break. We get done with our break, we go to the back area where they call the dark hallway. It's consisted of like 3 rooms,
mm-hmm.
and there's supposed to be this, at the back, it's called the boss's room or the dark room. It's where they say that it has a portal in it, and there's a possible demonic entity in that room. But obviously, he's not going to stick to just that room, but that's where his main area is, I guess, if you want to call it that. But
mm-hmm.
So we go back to that area, and I like staying out in the hallway, especially in that building, because if you stay focused at one room, you might miss something. So we try to line up in the hallway, get a couple guys in the rooms or whatever, but the majority of us are in the hallway, and we're investigating. And REM pod starts going nuts. We're getting crazy stuff through the portal, and we're doing some live video. And we had 2 people that were psychic medium on there, and they started. And as well as our historian,
mm-hmm.
Kendall Masters. She was on that live feed that night, just destroying it. Like, she was hitting us with all kinds of history. She was looking at more history as we were investigating, and
nice.
She's the newest member of our team, which I forgot to add that earlier. Kendall Masters, she is our historian. She runs the historic Rosemont in Gallatin, Tennessee. But she was on there, and the psychic mediums were, saying these names or maybe even events, but there's all kinds of different stuff they were saying, and Kendall was matching up the history to what they were saying.
Wow.
Afterwards. And they got to the point where they were saying that this woman, Mary or Maria, lost her kids to these serial killers that were captured in like a 100-yard radius of that building. And it was like America's first serial killers were captured right there on that land. It was crazy how all this history just unfolded on us at once in the middle of an investigation. It was insane. But
yeah,
she was saying stuff like she don't believe there is a God, and at one point we got something that came through the portal and said they need to pay, and it was getting really intense, man. And we heard like a blood curdling scream down the hallway.
Wow.
And then it turned into one of the psychic mediums was like, she's trying to leave. One of you need to walk her out. And so Wes and Matt Wyatt say, okay, Wes said, come on, let's go. And they start walking, and he gets about halfway down the hallway, and you can see it on the video. He's the one holding the camera. He starts like wobbling all over the place, and just kind of leans up against the wall, and he's like, I need to take a break, man. I don't feel good. And he said he was just like, it felt like there was a freezing cold blanket around him. And this was, I want to say this was June or July. I can't, but midsummer, and he was freezing and just getting very sick. And he finally walks her out, and needless to say, that was not the end of it. He had the next week after we got done with that investigation was extremely wild for him.
Yeah.
And a lot of us had some life-changing things happen afterwards, but it was that was our third time at Wilton Manor. The first two were not disappointing at all. We had great activity. This third time was my favorite investigation I've done.
Yeah, that sounds like one of those, I call them like the in-your-face haunted nights, where it's like...
Oh, yeah.
It's like disembodied voices and slams, and, you know, you're getting activity on the equipment and just like everything.
Yeah, I mean, we were picking up, which I'm a huge fan of, but picking up UEPs through the camera mic.
Yeah.
And we were picking up tons of them. I mean, that video that's on the YouTube page, it probably has 5 or 6 actual EVPs, but none of them are firm recorders. They're all either camera mic, or we caught 2 of those, you know, out loud voices were caught on camera as well, and you see our reactions to them, and it was a cool night.
Yeah, that's awesome. Sucks what happened to his name's Wes, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I've had some nights where things affect me like that, and it's definitely no fun, but it's just one of the things that happen. And then, like you said, sometimes these crazy, like, life-changing events, or just like all kinds of weird stuff happening after investigations, and it's I mean,
Absolutely, it's wild.
Yeah, I mean, I guess we can't say it's 100% caused by anything like that, but it always does seem like it is. And it might be.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. I wanted to say, too, about having a good historian on a team. That's always very important, because there's a lot of, you know, legends and you know, people might talk and make things up, but having that good historian to find all the facts and everything is really important.
Yeah, she does an incredible job. I mean, we're going to Monroe House on Saturday, and I think she said she has like a 10 or 12 page report, and
Nice.
she was calling like the locals up there and getting, you know, information from them, and she really goes into detail. I mean, she has degrees and all this stuff, so she is great to have on the team.
Yeah, that's perfect. One guy who I always go to, like, to ask about stuff is my friend Lewis. He wrote Southern Spirit Guides, Alabama Guide, and he lives in Georgia, but he's
Nice.
a similar guy. He's like super serious about his research, and he's like an armchair researcher, like goes deep into the history and everything. So it's important for a team to at least have someone like that
it is.
to go to. Have you been to Monroe House yet?
Not yet. This is going to be my first time, and I'm beyond excited about it for sure.
Yeah, it's definitely on my bucket list. I haven't been yet either. I've had, you know, a couple invites, but I wasn't able to make it up there. But from what I've heard, it's an interesting little place.
Yeah, I've heard some crazy stuff about old Monroe House.
Yeah, I've known. Have you guys ever had any experience with people seeing like I guess you just call it a reaper, like some kind of 7-8 foot tall hooded figure?
Kinda. I mean, we've heard. I don't know. We don't run into it a whole lot.
Yeah. I mean, it's been pretty rare, but one of the places I did hear about people seeing that was at Monroe House, and then a friend of mine saw one at Revenant Acres, and someone else told me that they saw one there too, and he didn't even know about that my friend had seen it. And
yeah, I think that'd be pretty awesome to see. I mean,
I've been waiting
I think
to see
the craziest visuals I've ever gotten is probably Hell's Bar Dam, though.
What'd you see there?
Well, I think the one that tops the list, and hopefully this doesn't make anybody mad that I'm sharing this out there, but it's just what we saw. It was Jeff's birthday out there. We were investigating, and Joe was out there for a little while. I think he had to end up leaving, but myself, Casey, and Ben were upstairs on the second floor, and things were wild that night. I mean, I know you've been there a few times, and that place can get dark pretty quick. And
yeah,
we had an event out there, and a week before that, I think it was, or maybe 2 weeks, but Ben on our team, his dad showed up, and he was a skeptic and ended up leaving early because he got shoved out of Linda's room. And he said, "Nope, I'm done with this," and he left. But we were up there, and Ben was asking who shoved my dad, and he said, "Man, my back is burning," and he had a scratch from like his neck all the way down to like his butt crack, and he was like kind of shook up about it a little bit. I was like, "Man, let's go take a break, man. We don't need to get that serious with it tonight. We can just have fun and stuff." And we started walking down the steps, and he got pushed down about 6 steps.
Man.
And
that's no
that
good.
wasn't even, that was just the beginning of the night. The end of the night, we were down over by the children's area at the tunnels, and we were facing towards the table that sits there in the middle.
Yeah.
And we were just watching because there's glow sticks on the floor, and start noticing like them getting blocked off, and I was like, "Man, I wonder if my eyes are just messing with me or something." And I saw a full-blown foot at one point just block one of those off, and then back open. And Casey, before that, was getting affected. He was getting really aggressive for a little bit, and while we're down there investigating, at the end of the night, I start hearing what sounds like workers working on stuff, and then Al said, "We're about to leave. You make a loud noise for us before we go?" And we heard hooves walking down the hallway, and it stopped, and it growled so loud that it echoed through that entire tunnel system.
Wow.
So that was insane, but previous to this, there was I don't even know what you would call it, but there was something in that whirlpool room that had hooves, bent back legs, taller than that pontoon boat that was on that trailer with horns.
Yeah. That sounds... I would love to see that, but also I'd probably crap my pants on it. But I've heard a lot of stories about people hearing the hooves, which is pretty creepy to think about. And if you started hearing that, and then if you saw something like that, the legs almost sounds like Wendigo type of description. But then like with the horns and everything, probably, I guess we would assume some type of demon or some type of demonic entity.
It's been crazy, man. I've seen lots of creepers in that building too. I mean, just stuff that just I can't even describe other than a creeper. But I've seen lots of shadows in that entire building. I've seen way more shadows and figures in that building than any other place I've been to by far.
Yeah, and that place is so interesting. Or a lot of locations, like you were saying, some nights might be kind of active, some nights might not be active at all, and then you have those nights where it's just like insanity. And I just wonder what causes those differences in the like atmosphere for it to be like that.
Yeah, it's I know my take on Hell's Bar Dam, because I've never been to Hell's Bar Dam personally and not experienced activity. Like, it's always been super active every time I've gone. It might take a little bit to get it started, but it always turns out to be like an incredibly active night. But that place, the mountains that it's in, made out of quartz, has running water all around the building and inside the building. Just a constant conduit for energy, and that place has some sort of connection with us as our team. I mean, I hate to even say that because it sounds so weird, but I'm sure you've heard about the spirit named Linda at the dam. I don't think that is a little girl that is at the dam, but that is my personal opinion. I think that whatever is dark and evil or dark and aggressive, I will say, in the second floor especially, I think that is Linda's alter ego. And I think when she's kind of had enough of you, she ends up being that thing. But that's just my personal opinion. Every time I've mentioned it, especially at the dam, things get aggressive, and Linda's gone. So, but we've had her name come up through the portal at multiple locations, the same voice that we've caught at Hell's Bar Dam. And that in itself has been insane for me, trying to figure out why does she keep popping up at somewhere that's 400 miles away or 300 miles away or whatever. Like, she's still there. It's insane. She's not at any of our houses. I don't notice anything at my house at all. None of the other guys do either, and it's just, it blows my mind. Yeah,
some of this stuff is just, like, it really does go so deep, and it's so weird sometimes. And, I like that theory, though, about that. I mean, when I was there, the first time I heard this giggle, it didn't sound like a friendly giggle. It sounded like a kid, but it had this, like, weird, like, darker tone.
Undertone behind it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that was interesting. But so did you actually you saw the goat man, or people had just claimed to have seen it in there? Or like
no, we saw it.
And you saw that thing
in
the whirlpool room?
Yes. And I have a picture, actually, not of that, but this was at an event we were throwing, and this was shortly before I started getting affected, to the point of, like, I was ready to just, like, throw a temper tantrum. Like, I was just getting so angry for whatever reason. But
yeah,
we were all upstairs on the second floor of, I think it was the second building, where all those, like, floats and stuff were at. You know what I'm talking about? We're up there, and we're getting crazy good REM pod activity and K2 activity and stuff coming through the apps we were using. I started snapping some pictures, and this lady had brought, like, a little stool that she could carry on her back, but she would, prop it up in these rooms, just sit down and stuff. And I took a picture of her, and her face, the whole thing distorted, like it looked like this 4-foot tall hooded thing with horns on it.
Wow. That's insane.
I'll have to send you pictures after this of some of the stuff I've got from Hell's Dam. I've caught some weird looking stuff there for sure.
Yeah. Yeah, it's always weird when photos distort like that. I've definitely seen some weird things with that. And then that kind of goes, I've been wondering too about some of these things, like including like Bigfoot and stuff, like things appearing big and giant, but maybe that's just how they can project themselves, and maybe they are like really this little like imp creatures, like a hood.
Yeah.
But they can like, I don't know what they can do. I mean, I guess we don't know, but it's just interesting theories to think about, and I like thinking about all the possibilities, definitely.
Yeah, I try to come up with some sort of idea in my head, and then I start thinking of like, well, that's not possible because of this, or I'll talk to my wife about it sometimes, dude, and she's like, go lay down and stop thinking about it, because, dude, I will stay up and just thinking and talking out loud, and just going way off in left field with thinking about all of it.
I understand. I wanted to ask too, what all do you guys use to, protect yourself, or do you guys use any methods like for that, or when you do start feeling anger or anything?
That is a good question. We typically say a prayer before we go into any investigating in the location. But a lot of the guys, we have pendants that we'll wear, or protection stones. I mean, it's really a perfect preference of who the person is, whatever they feel is going to protect them. I'm not going to tell any person ever what you should and shouldn't use for protection. I mean, that's your own call, and on the same end of that, who am I to tell you what you believe in and don't believe in? So
yeah,
that's where we're at. But we do a prayer together, and if we start getting affected to the point where like we need to step out, we either just try to take a breather, try to clear our heads for a minute, or if it gets to the point we'll sage off, or sage and salt and stuff like that. So it just all depends on the protocol, what we kind of decide as a group needs to happen, or what I think that I need to go ahead and take care of.
Yeah, I'm the same way. I mean, yeah, that's what I'll tell people too. I'll be like, because they'll be like, how do I protect myself? I'm like, well, what do you personally, like, what do you believe will protect you? That's what you need to use. And sometimes, I mean, we've had a few times, like me and my friend Eric have had some times where we've had to do that too, take a step outside, be like, think it over, calm down. Especially when those negative feelings start taking over, can get nasty.
Yes, they do. They'll. I mean, I've been through it. It gets crazy.
Yeah, and I will say too. You were mentioning earlier about just some intense like spirit box sessions or portal or getting intense. That does happen a lot, and it's like, you just have to be there to really feel the whole intensity. Like, you probably can't feel it as well through videos, but sometimes it gets...
Yeah, for sure.
It gets intense, and it's like just intelligent stuff popping off, or all kinds of stuff going on. It's but I think that's what keeps... it's one of the things that draws us back always.
Oh, yeah. It's, the whole energy in the room, or even the entire building just shifts. If you start getting to a certain point, especially during a spirit box session or, whatever session you're doing that's getting intense like that, you'll feel it. I mean, it feels like it's all around you, or, it gets crazy, man. There was I was talking to Matt Wyatt the other day, and, one of my favorite things that we experience is those times where you can physically hear the spirit talk back to you, not through a device, but like it's in the room with you. And we had that exact thing happen a few times, but one I was talking about with him the other day was at Hell's Bar Dam again. We were in Linda's room, and we were doing a spirit box session. It started getting a little intense, and then we start using the mel meter and asking for specific spikes, and it was giving them. And, I mean, to the point of, like, we asked for, like, from a 0, if it could spike it to, like, a 4.8, and it would do, like, a 4.6 or a 4.9. Like, it was all around it, and I was like, this is insane. And then all of a sudden the mel meter topped out. It only read dash marks across the screen.
Wow.
And then when it finally got a reading, it was at like 150 something.
Yeah, that's insane.
Then Matt Wyatt had asked if they choose to be there or are they trapped, and he just asked the question, are you trapped? And then out loud in the room you hear clear as day, yes.
Wow. And you guys heard that real time?
Oh yeah, it was insane.
Have you guys
ever a few choice words thrown out there after that happened, but
yeah, of course. I understand. I would have done the same. Have you guys ever experienced like hearing a disembodied voice but your audio doesn't pick it up, but like multiple people heard it?
Yes, and to go even further on that, the one time I can think of that I got so irritated, I was doing a real-time review in the room we were investigating, and I said, holy crap, man, did you hear that? It said mommy, and he's like, yeah, that was clear as day. And we ran back to the recorder, and it wasn't there.
Mm-hmm.
And we realized while we were reviewing that recorder, we picked up a disembodied voice just in the room with us, and I thought it was a EVP we just caught.
Yep.
That was frustrating for me, but
yeah,
it was still cool that it happened. But I was like, man.
Yeah, I've had that happen too, and like you said, you're like super bummed out, but you're also like trying to figure out what the hell happened. You're like, we heard it. Yeah, I mean, there's one time we had just pulled up to this cemetery, and we were like still in the car, and I like turned on the recorder, and we heard this voice, and on the recording you can hear me. I'm like, did you hear that? And she's like, yeah. But there was nothing there. I was like, is that some kind of mind speak? like some Jedi mind speak stuff or what?
Yeah, they just ninja chopped your brain, bro.
Yeah, it's insane. I don't know. I still don't get it, but it's cool. I mean, some of my best experiences too, like, weren't caught on camera and stuff, so I'll never regret having the experiences, but I do wish I could catch some of the stuff on camera.
Oh yeah, I'm right there with you, man. I've had moments where we've had moments where we're trying to film like a little episode for YouTube or something, and I'll be talking into the camera, and then we'll get done talking, I'll cut the camera off, and I see a gigantic, shadow right beside me or something, and
yeah.
I'm like, man. That actually happened at Wilden Manor. That was, I think it's pitch black down there. The only light we had was the IR light from the camera, but it's pitch black to the point of like the doors and windows were boarded up as well in the basement. So, but we saw this gigantic shadow figure that was darker than the pitch black that was down there, and it made my gut drop for a second.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
I went to our immediate bubble test.
Yeah, the shadow figures, or whatever you want to call them, are pretty insane. I had one like that too, where I was filming some at Trans Allegheny, and then I like turned the camera off, and I was walking through the like drug hall wing, and then I walked right past this like shadow figure standing right beside me, and then I turned around because I thought it was a person waiting for me to go around him, and it just was gone, and I was like, oh my God, why was I not rolling?
That's pretty awesome.
But of course I wasn't rolling, you know. It's just like, Chris had a question in the chat. Also, Matt Wyatt and Richard Wade are in the chat. They've been chatting it up. Chris,
What's up, y'all?
Chris wanted to know, he said, did you see the Goat Man in spirit or physical? I guess what he's saying, what do you think? Oh, I guess it would be more of a spirit, huh? Seeing it inside Hell's Bar Dam. I mean,
yeah, I mean, it was as simple as we walked into the whirlpool room and it was standing there and then gone.
Yeah, and they're always gone like so fast. It'll just be like a split second, and it's just gone.
Yeah, it was creepy.
Yeah, that was similar to when my friend saw the hooded figure at Revenant Acres. He saw this light anomaly, and he said he pointed in the room, and so we walked in there, and he said he saw something, and he said I walked like right to the point where the light anomaly went, and then he turned around and saw this figure, and he like screamed and started cussing and yelling, and I like instantly turned around, but I didn't see it, and yeah, it's just gone in like a split second. He even like pulled his camera up, and it didn't catch anything, but it's just like one of those, similar to those voices that we hear but don't catch. You might see something that you don't catch.
Yeah, for sure.
So we got a few minutes.
And I hate those moments where you'll be behind somebody or somebody's behind you, even when you're walking through an area and they see something, you try to turn and catch it real quick and miss it. I hate those moments.
Yeah. Yeah, it's very frustrating because we spend so much time trying to catch these few seconds of good stuff, and it's like just make it a little easier for us. Just let us.
Yeah, for real.
Just let us catch some good stuff. But we do, though. We do. I mean, we spend lots of time doing it, but it's worth it, even for those small few seconds of like just awesome evidence.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, it's those moments where you get something that you just cannot explain, and there's no way out of what you just saw or what was captured. Those are, I don't care if it's a half a second long. I mean, that's completely worth time and money spent getting out there.
Yeah, I agree, and some people don't want anything to do with it. Like some people have told me they believe in this stuff, but they don't want anything to do with it, and we're out there trying to seek it and find it and see it and interact with it.
Yeah, pushing the boundaries.
Yeah, someone's got to do it.
Yeah, man, there's a few of us that just do some wild stuff, man, and I mean, and it's one of those things, like, everybody's going to investigate differently and have their own little quirks and things that they do as a team, but we're all about pushing some limits and trying to just get ourselves to the point where, if I'm in a building and I'm doing something that, I'm like, man, I don't know about all this, then at that point I say I'm on the right track, because if I just stay comfortable with something, I'm going to continue to get the same results and same evidence, and I want to constantly try to push it just a little further.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I agree with that, because, I I do similar stuff going to, like, you know, like some pretty sometimes dangerous abandoned buildings alone, like in dangerous neighborhoods and stuff. But sometimes I have some of my best encounters at these places, and I definitely feel uncomfortable doing it sometimes. But I just, like you said, you just push through it and get some great results.
Absolutely.
Richard had said he's proud of you, Matthew, and that he's like a proud papa listening to you right now.
I appreciate their Richard.
And then I wanted to ask, we got a couple minutes here, but what's some your favorite equipment you've been using lately?
Well, man, that's a toughie because I use it all and it all has its purpose. But I've been all on this ITC Legion stuff, man. I've been using the crap out of it because some of these apps and devices that, you know, Dave's pushing out is giving some killer results back. I mean, even using the Paradigm box from Paranormal Den, that app is incredible. I've been trying to try out as many apps as possible and seeing the stuff that I personally like about them and stuff I personally don't like about them. And yeah, ITC Legion has not failed plugging that thing up to the portal or even going a little with just some spirit box sessions on the portal. I mean, I've been all about my portal in general lately. I'll start playing music through it if I have to, but it's I love it.
Mine, Eric Connor of Epic, he actually named his that he's been making the Gateway, which I thought was funny because then I think he showed me you guys first, and because I guess he found y'all's name through, but you know, Gateway Portal, similar. But mine has like a reverse function. I've been wanting to play some like songs backwards through it and see if, you know, there's any of those subliminal messages or anything I can find. It'd be kind of fun.
Yeah, it'd be pretty sweet.
But I do love running ITC devices through, you know, noise gate. Sometimes some echo and reverb, and it definitely it's definitely awesome. I have good sessions.
Yeah, it definitely helps out a lot.
Yeah. Like, I still enjoy doing just a radio session every now and then, but my box has the echo, and I get spoiled on that echo. Like, I'll be waiting for the echo on the regular radio, and I'll be like, dang it, I'm not using the echo. Because it gives you that second chance to hear if what you heard was correct.
That's what I love about mine as well. I mean, that echo is incredible, man. Because you'll miss, you know, without it, like you said, you'll miss it quick. But you have that little second chance there right afterwards. So it's one of them listen up close up moments.
Yep. Yeah, I love that. And then, so you guys have been doing a lot more just ITC work, or you guys have always pretty much used that in investigations?
We always try to go some sort of ITC. We used the Spiritus app for a long time, but we love doing just straight, you know, raw spirit box sessions. I mean, we've never been failed to that. We go back to it a lot. We'll cut off all of our equipment and do EVP sessions. I mean, we just try to do, we try to change it up and make sure every piece of equipment we have is being somewhat utilized, because we have quite a few pieces to choose from, but I think that all of it is very important in its own little way, so it's hard to say, you know, which one of them I prefer. I prefer myself as the piece of equipment. You know, I can sense something in the room, or I know how I feel. So it's, at that point, then I can say, well, I'm feeling this kind of way. Maybe I should bust out the SLS camera or the REM pod, or Periscope, or whatever the case is, and just that, I guess, instinct.
Yeah. I definitely utilize that a lot as well, and I think it's important, and also it is a skill that I think you can hone and even make stronger through investigating and everything. So, but yeah, shout out to ITC Legion. I got the Silent Step box, and also I use some of Dave's apps as well. Like, I like the Ask app a lot. Oops. And I've used the Pogo app, a few of those. But yeah, before we wrap it up, go ahead and let everyone know where they can find your stuff. I realized I got to put the link to your YouTube and Facebook in the description. I just slipped my mind, I guess, but I will do that after the show. And I've been posting it in the chat too, so let everyone know though.
Awesome. Find us on Facebook at Gateway Paranormal TN for Tennessee. Instagram, Gateway Paranormal. Twitter at GPS_TN, and YouTube at Gateway Paranormal as one word. We're kind of all over the place, so definitely search us up and check us out.
Awesome, man. Well, thanks so much for coming on, and I enjoyed listening to all the stories, and definitely some crazy stuff you guys have been seeing and capturing.
Well, I definitely appreciate you having me, brother.
And we'll definitely we'll link up in the future and do a collaboration too, so we can.
Yeah, man, that'd be awesome. Let me know when you're down. We'll set it up.
For sure, man. Awesome. Well, have a great night, and enjoy the Monroe House on this weekend.
Will do, and y'all stay tuned and check that out on YouTube. We're gonna be doing some Black Mirror sessions with old Jason Emery.
Nice.
From Paranormal Den.
Can't wait to see that, man. I'll be tuning in. And real quick, I'm feeling it tonight. Do a little wolf howl. You got a wolf howl in you?
All right, I'm gonna try it out.
All right. Hey, that was beautiful. That was awesome. Awesome, man. We'll have a great night, and yeah, we'll see you at the Monroe House on the live stream.
Awesome. Sounds good, man.
All right, man. Peace out.
See you.
All right, guys. That was Matthew Feole of Gateway Paranormal Society. That was a great howl, guys. We got to say that was good. I always try to remember to get the guests to howl, and sometimes I just forget, and then I end up doing one at the end. But that was one of the best ones we've had, I think. And one of my other favorites was when Bill Lancaster did a Squatch call for us. That was awesome, because I was like, "You want to do a howl?" And he was like, "Can I do a Squatch call?" And I was like, "Yes, most definitely. Please do." Anyway, guys, thank you guys for listening. I really enjoyed those stories, and hearing about the Goat Man makes me want to see one for myself. Maybe I will. I've been seeing some weird stuff lately, having some weird experiences, catching some weird red eyes in the woods. Maybe that was Goat Man. Maybe it was Mothman. I don't know. But anyway, guys, be on the lookout. Got some Hellsbar Dam videos from the last time I was there coming up that I've been working on, and also I'm working on a little video about the Feole, which is going to be really cool. I've got a lot of different sightings and stories from the southern United States about the Feole, or some people refer to them as the little people. Some people refer to them as the fair folk or fairies, whatever you want to call them. They're very interesting to me, and I've had an experience with them as well that I'll be talking about in the video. Basically, it's going to probably be pretty long, a compilation of a lot of different stories, and it's going to be awesome. And then also, guys, Bigfoot Day next weekend. And we've got next week a dream interpreter coming on the YouTube channel, which is going to be very awesome. Anyway, guys, I hope you guys have a great rest of the week. I hope everyone doesn't get too much rain. And, get out and investigate. It is October, Halloween season. It's going to be great. It's going to be great. I've been decorating the house, getting spooky. And, you know I stay spooky year-round, though. All year round. Anyway, guys, I'll see you guys next time. And, oh, yes, thank you, Chris. The show next week on YouTube will be on Tuesday night at 8:30 p.m. Central Time, 9:30 Eastern. Thank you, Chris. I almost forgot to mention that. There will be a day change. Next Wednesday is Brittany's mom's birthday. So, definitely try to be there on the YouTube. I'm going to create an event for it, and I will share that out. So, Tuesday the 16th, and there will be a dream interpreter, and he's going to be going into some interacting with beings in the dream realm. It's going to be really cool because this guy knows his stuff, and I'm excited to have him on and let him talk to us, interpret some dreams. We might even let people join the hangout so they can, fully talk to him and tell him the dream. So next Tuesday, I'll see you guys, and also expect some videos and live streams this weekend. All right. I'll see you guys later, Wolfpack.